Wine that winks back at you. The ice-cold refresher with twice the pleasure.
Really something.
One McDou's bay, mate.
No, might buy 'em.
Sun Country wine cooler. You see,
The 1980s, a decade of big hair, bold fashion, and even bolder drinks. It was an era of wild experimentation at the bar, where brands fought for a piece of the party. But for every legendary success story, there's a graveyard of epic failures. These are the drinks that didn't just fade away, they crashed and burned. Let's revisit 25 liquor brands from the 1980s that failed miserably.
There's light-hearted living in light-hearted Falstaff.
Alive with taste that comes right from the heart of finest barley.
Falstaff was once a big name in beer. Born in the 1800s, its bottles and bright red label were found in bars and shops across many towns. Folks spoke of its easy drink and steady pour. The company grew fast and hired many hands. It ran lively ads, sponsored events, and felt woven into daily life. Years passed, and choices changed. Big beer names came to rule the shelves. Falstaff tried a small comeback, but the spark did not hold. In 1983, the brewery closed for good, leaving quiet buildings and empty tanks. Old bottles and faded posters now sit in boxes, and older people tell small tales of nights out. Yet, the name still wakes a warm, faded memory. And that memory leads quickly to another vanished brand.
Try Bud Dry. It's dry brewed, not watered down, to drink light yet satisfied completely. Because when all the world's a stage, your refreshment should be real.
Bud Dry came from Budweiser and promised a clean, dry finish. It aimed to cut the soft, sweet end that some beers had. At first, it felt modern and neat, a tidy match for pizza or a pub snack. Curious folks tried it, and bars put it on tap. For a while, it fit a certain crowd that liked crisp, simple beer. But tastes did not stand still. Drinkers later chased fuller craft flavors or very low-calorie choices. Bud Dry saw its sales slip as labels changed and new trends moved in. The brand was phased out and now lives in memory and in old ads. Fans recall its plain claim, a dry sip, nothing fancy, just a clean end. Peter Hand. Brewing once ran steady lines of lagers and ales from a proud plant. It served local drinkers and built ties with the town. Workers clocked in and the bell rang as kegs rolled out. Its name was on bar signs and on truck doors. But the beer world can be hard on small houses. Markets change, costs rise, and big firms blunt the edge of smaller makers. Peter Hand. Brewing struggled with these shifts and could not stay. The doors shut and the kettles grew cold. People remember the taproom chatter and the smile of the brewman. Empty crates and old recipes keep the memory alive, and then a new, rougher kind of classic takes the stage. Soon, something bolder would claim attention in a very different way. Pete's Wicked Ale began as a bold craft beer in 1986, one of the early small-batch American ales to push flavor beyond light lagers. It wore a gritty name and poured a brown, rich tone with nut and toast notes. Fans liked its depth and the daring that early craft houses brought. For years, it found a steady group who loved real, honest beer that tasted like work and oak. Yet business and market tides can turn on small makers. In 2011, the brand was discontinued, and Pete's place in the craft scene became a piece of history. Those who remember it speak of early craft days and the warm, toasty pour. That red bottle still surfaces at reunions and in chats with those who often chase the heat today. Billy Beer was a short, loud story in beer history. Launched in the late 1970s, it rode on the odd fame of being linked to a public figure's family. The cans landed on shelves with a bright promise and much talk. People bought it out of curiosity or for a gag gift. But the product did not hold fans for long. Within a year, it was gone. The quick end taught a lesson. A famous name can grab attention, but it cannot replace taste or steady work to serve a true beer crowd. Today, Billy Beer sits in odd collections and history pieces as a funny, short-lived idea that burned bright and fizzled fast. Collectors laugh at the odd cans, though some people still loved the quick buzz they gave. Brown Derby Beer was a local brand known for simple pours and small joys. One playful trick was a puzzle under each cap. Collectors and kids loved that. The beer fit the region and felt like a neighbor's drink at town events and small clubs. Its bottle meant routine and a certain calm that came with the end of the day. But times moved, and many regional houses found it hard to keep pace with big-name firms and new styles. Brown Derby's sales slowed, and it was pulled from many stores in the late 1980s. People who kept a case remember warm evenings, the small thrill of finding a puzzle, and the taste of a simple local lager. Those cans sit in old photos and point to a rowdy past. Purple Passion cans once held a bold, pre-mixed drink made with strong grain alcohol and sweet fruit flavors. Launched in 1986, it aimed at party crowds who wanted fast results. A can promised a punch and a wild night, with a syrupy taste and a bright purple hue that looked loud in a cooler. It found fans in rowdy scenes and among those chasing a quick, high-strength pour. But health voices and market shifts later cooled the market for such fierce, quick drinks. The original Purple Passion premix was discontinued and now lives in memories and old photos of wild nights. Some who recall it tell the tale with a wince and a grin for the reckless fun of that time. Some bartenders still nod to it for daring guests. Kina Lillet was a bitter, chin-stirring aperitif used in old cocktail books and in the earliest Vesper Martini recipes. It mixed sweet and bitter with herb notes that grounded a sharp drink. In the mid-1980s, the recipe changed, and the house rebranded the product under a simpler name, Lillet Blanc. Some bartenders and writers said the change led to a softer, less bitter bottle. For lovers of the classic mix, that older taste remains a wish on many menus and in many home bars. Today, makers sell a smoother version, and the old Kina lives on as a fond note in cocktail history. That older, bitter edge is missed by purists who keep searching old books and bars for a taste like the one in the stories still today. Suntory Q was a light, low-cost Japanese whiskey launched in the early 1980s during a push to save money. People bought it because it was cheap, simple, and easy to pour. The whiskey was mild, with little smoke or deep oak, so it mixed well with soda or a splash of water. At small bars and quiet homes, it served as an everyday pour. Fans of big old whiskeys rarely praised it, but casual drinkers found it handy. Over time, buyers moved to stronger, richer bottles, and Suntory Q sold less. The brand was quietly taken off shelves and is now a small footnote in whiskey history. Curious to hear what odd drink followed next? Malt Duck first came out in the 1960s mixing beer with grape juice in the same bottle. It poured with a sweet grape front that hit first and then a beer aftertaste that surprised many drinkers. People brought it to parties because it felt fun and odd, a middle ground between wine and beer. The tall glass bottle looked bright on the table and stood out in a cooler. For years, it served as a party pour beside full beers and real wine. By 1992, sales fell, and the maker discontinued it, allowing the name to slip away. In 2016, a small brewer bought the rights and tried a stronger, new version for a short time. That relaunch was limited, so Malt Duck remains mostly a memory today.
Get Ripple, the bright new drink with that ring-a-ding flavor, Ripple.
Ice Cold Ripple is the new drink for lively people. It's the wine that winks back at you.
Ripple came in the 1960s and was loved by young people who wanted something different from their parents' wine. It tasted like a cheap, bottled sangria. Red wine mixed with fruit juice, sugar, color, and bubbles. Because it was fizzy, sweet, and very cheap, many bought it for parties and casual nights. For a while, Ripple was sold in small shops and even in vending machines, making it easy to get. But by 1984, big makers changed their lines and pushed real vintages and better bottles. That shift left little room for cheap fizz. Ripple slowly vanished from big stores as buyers wanted true wine and better labels. Some still recall its buzz. California Cooler rode the wine cooler wave in the 1980s with fruity, sweet drinks in packs and jugs. It sold as a bottled party punch, and the ads showed young people on sunny beaches laughing and passing bottles. The drink was light, fizzy, and easy to sip, made from wine mixed with fruit syrup and sugar. It felt modern and casual for house parties, picnics, and pool days. At its peak, people bought it by the case, and the name became a short way to say a good time. But by the late 1980s, real wines and new drinks grew more popular. Production slowed, and by the early 1990s, California Cooler was mostly gone. A larger firm bought the brand, but taste moved on, and the jugs sat on shelves.
Ice cubes keep falling in my glass of Baileys. They keep falling. They keep falling in my
Baileys. La copa tranquila.
Bailey's Glide was a low-alcohol spin on the famous Irish cream. Launched in 1995, it cut the strength down and added vanilla, selling in small, single-serve bottles. The idea was to make the creamy dessert drink easier to sell in casual settings and to ride the alcopop wave. Glide poured sweet and light and fit in fridges where other ready-to-drink bottles lived. Fans of full-strength Baileys found it too mild, and those who liked alcopops did not always choose it. After a short try, the maker stopped bottling Glide in 2005. Today, it is remembered as a bold try that did not win. Old bottles sit in boxes and memories. Dundee. Brandy began life in an old Scottish town known for its whiskey blending. The company dates back to 1831 when Alexander Stewart set up Stewart & Son. For many years, the firm mixed spirits into gentle, ready-to-drink blends. One of its best-known names was Cream of the Barley, and collectors still seek old bottles like the Deluxe and the 8 years old. Over time, big companies bought smaller blenders, and Dundee became part of a larger group. Though you can still find rare bottles on the collector market, the old standalone Dundee label is gone. What if the next drink you tried was bright and fruity? Can you guess what kind of treat that might be?
It's fun getting to the bottom of one.
It's fun getting to the bottom of one.
White Mountain Cooler.
White Mountain Cooler burst onto shelves in 1985 as a sweet, malt-based beer cooler. It tasted more like fruit juice than beer, with big sugar notes and bold fruit scents. People who wanted a light, easy drink liked it at parties and picnics. The can was bright and playful, and the drink felt young and fun. But tastes changed. By the early 1990s, many drinkers moved toward lighter, less sweet drinks, and the market for sugary coolers faded. Production stopped and the flavor faded from store aisles. Today, White Mountain lives mostly in old ads and memories. Up next, a name you might remember from TV ads. Shall we see how fame and ad magic met a drink?
So if you're tired of having your ice just plain, add some Bartles and James. We hope you appreciate this suggestion, and thank you for your support.
Bartles and James became famous not just for wine coolers, but for its friendly TV ads. Two older men in simple clothes would talk to the camera like neighbors, telling viewers that the coolers were smooth and easy to use. The drink itself mixed wine with sweet fruit flavors to make a light, very drinkable sip. Over time, the company changed the recipe to chase new tastes. The new versions did not sit well with all fans, and as shoppers moved on, sales dropped. The brand faded and its coolers became rare on shelves. Now, Bartles and James lives in old commercials and in the memory of summer parties long past.
Isn't a can of Four Loko USA? Take a pro wrestler, give him apple pie picks, bald eagle biceps.
The original Four Loko was loud and bold. It mixed high alcohol with caffeine and other brighteners, so people felt wide awake while they drank a lot. For a while, that mix proved popular, especially with young drinkers looking for a quick jolt. But safety worries grew when people mixed stimulants and heavy alcohol. Regulators stepped in and makers had to drop the caffeine and change the recipe in 2010. The old formula was banned and is no longer sold. Today's cans look similar, but the original kick is gone, and with it, the risky reputation. Next up is a very strong rum with a fiery past. Curious how that story ends? Bacardi 151 was famous for its heat. At 75.5% ABV, it burned brighter than most rums and was often used for flaming drinks and dramatic pours. Bartenders liked its power for a show, while some home drinkers kept a small bottle for special moments. Its strength also made it risky. A slip could cause a flare-up, a spill, or worse. Over time, the maker chose to stop selling it, and in 2016, Bacardi 151 was discontinued. Fans still speak of its fierce taste and sting. Now it remains a story about how bold choices can be both fun and dangerous. How about a wine cooler from a big brewer next? Can you imagine that mix?
Really something.
One Matilda Bay, mate.
Now made by our mates in the States. It'll take your taste away from the everyday.
Matilda Bay was Miller's try at the wine cooler boom. It married light wine with sweet fruit flavors, made to be easy and low effort to drink. The bottle and label nodded to summer fun, and people enjoyed it at backyard barbecues. But by 1989, Miller left the cooler market, and Matilda Bay disappeared along with many other cooler labels. The shift came as shoppers chased new styles and lighter beers, leaving sweet coolers behind. What's left now are old ads and a few dusty bottles in secondhand stores. Ready for another cooler story from a giant brewer that also bowed out? Keep reading.
Dewey Stevens can do anything, even taught me to sing. So when Dewey came up with a great wine cooler, I wasn't surprised.
Dewey Stevens, 1/3 less calories, 2/3 more fun.
Dewey Stevens. Coolers were introduced by Anheuser-Busch during the wine cooler wave. Packaged like fun, easy drinks, they mixed wine with bright fruit tastes to attract casual drinkers. The brand tried to stand out with bold labels and simple messages. Drink and relax. But the cooler market grew crowded and margins shrank. By 1987, Anheuser-Busch chose to leave that corner of the market, and Dewey Stevens faded away. Today, the name is a small footnote in a big brewer's long history, remembered by people who once brought the bottles to parties. Vin Mariani was a late 1800s fortified wine that mixed Bordeaux-style wine with coca leaves. The drink contained in the old formula, and it attracted artists, leaders, and even doctors who praised its lift and warmth. Over time, rules changed and health concerns grew. By 1914, laws in the United States banned such laced tonics, and Vin Mariani vanished from stores. Now it belongs to history, a time when laws and taste met in strange ways. Antique bottles and stories remain for those who study the odd corners of drink history.
I used to be frightened by all the wine coolers I saw. I was scared I wouldn't pick the right one. Luckily, I did. It was the most refreshing one of them all, Sun Country wine cooler.
Sun Country was introduced by the Canandaigua Wine Company during the cooler craze of the 1980s. It mixed wine with soft fruit flavors to make an easy, light drink for warm days. The brand aimed at casual drinkers who wanted a sweet sip without fuss. As the 1990s began, shoppers shifted away from sugary coolers, and many makers stopped making them. Sun Country was one of the brands that ended production and disappeared from stores. Now, it lives in old marketing and in memories of summers when fruit wine was the drink of choice. Absenta Argenti flowed from stills for decades before production ceased in the early 1970s. Its recipe did not stand still. Each era left a mark, and the bottle that closed the line was the weakest link of all. The last version reads like a compromise, lighter on real botanicals and heavier on laboratory aromas. Distillers who once steeped wormwood and anise now reached for essences, syrups, and clever shortcuts to hit familiar notes fast. Where craft and patience once shaped flavor, speed, and cost-cutting reshaped identity. Collectors prize older bottles for their depth. The final Argenti is a bittersweet relic, a closing chapter that tells a larger story about how tastes and trade-offs changed in old art, and fading traditions remain. Una Castana was one of many Spanish absinthes produced until the mid-1980s. In years when absinthe faced bans in many countries, Spain still produced some bottles for local use. Una Castana carried the bitter herbs and the hidden green scent that people link to absinthe's mystique. But changing laws, market limits, and shifting tastes meant many small makers stopped, and Una Castana's last bottles slipped away. Today, it's a quiet piece of drink lore, remembered by collectors and by those who study how laws shape what we sip. Now, let's talk about a surprising absinthe made far from Europe. This one came from Japan. Hermes absinthe was a Japanese take on the old green spirit, made at a time when Western buyers knew little about Japan's small absinthe scene. Suntory and a few other makers kept the craft alive, offering a clean, herbal pour that many Western markets did not see. Hermes had the licorice and wormwood bite that defines absinthe, but it sailed under the radar while bans and myths held the West's view. By the mid-1980s and after, changes in law and taste left many such labels rare or gone. Today, these bottles are a quiet curiosity for collectors and lovers of odd drinks.